Okay, on number one, it says which of the following will always produce an odd integer for any given integer? What they mean by this is when you plug this function in and you say y equals n plus 1 or x plus 1, what do you get out? What does it produce? Okay? Remember what we're doing here. Talking about our xy table. And I'm going to change the n to x here, because x is what you're used to. Okay? So when you plug this into your calculator at the y equals button, you're going to get an output. Okay? What they're saying is for any given integer that we put in the x value, let's start with -2 and go up to +2. That's usually a pretty good rule. Okay. When you plug that in, you're going to get this value over here. And go ahead and try it in your calculator. Put x plus 1 into the y equals function and go to the table. You should get these values. Okay? So then you check to see if it's true. Does it always produce an odd integer? Well, here's the key word right here. Always. So does it always produce an odd integer? Well, -1's odd, but 0 isn't odd. 1's odd, but 2 isn't odd. So that one's not true. It doesn't always produce an odd integer. So we go to the next answer. 2n plus 1. So now you're going to plug in and change the n to x. 2x plus 1. When you plug that in, you're going to get those values. Now, did that function always produce an odd integer? Well, look out here at what it produced. -3, -1, 1, 3, 5, and go ahead and check these on your calculator. So you see that this is what you get when you plug this function in. These are odd integers. Okay? So that is the correct answer. You're always going to get an odd integer. So that's how you do these. The next one says it will always produce an even integer. Okay? And the answer there is going to be answer D. Because when you plug in 4n or 4x to your y equals button on your calculator, what you're going to get will always be an even number. Okay? Go ahead and write down the next answers. Number 3 is C. Number 4 is B. If you want to pause while you work these, go ahead and hit the pause on your video. And number 5 is D. Make sure when you're checking these, make sure you can tell that it's always going to be true. Okay? Don't just assume that if you see 2 or 3 of them true, that it's always true. Make sure it's always true. number 1. The dimensions of a rectangle are 3x plus 4 and 4x minus 1. It's always a good idea to draw these problems out when they describe something that you can see like this. I'm going to do it over here on the left. So we've got a rectangle. I'm going to call this 3x plus 4 and this 4x minus 1. Okay? It says, which expression best represents the perimeter of the rectangle in simplest terms? Okay? If you remember perimeter, you can use a formula. P equals 2L plus 2W. Or if you know how to find perimeter, you know it's just adding up all 4 sides. So you could just go around the rectangle and add up all 4 sides. Either way. So I think that's what I want to do. I want to just add up the 4 sides. So 3x plus 4 plus 4x minus 1. Now remember, you've got to go all the way around the figure. So we've got to come down here and do another 3x plus 4 and another 4x minus 1. And I'm going to add these vertically like this. Okay? Add up all the x's. 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 is 14x. And then we want to add up all of our constants out here. 4 minus 1 plus 4 minus 1. And use your calculator if you're not sure. Okay, you could just put in 4 minus 1 plus 4 minus 1, put all that in the calculator, and you're going to get a positive 6. 14x plus 6. So the answer is B. Now, if you had only added up the length and the width right here that you see in the problem, you would have gotten answer C. 7x plus 3. That's a common mistake on a problem like this, is to choose answer C. But it's wrong because that's not the perimeter. That's only half of the perimeter. Okay? So you need to go all the way around. Okay, number 2 describes a square. So draw the square. It's 2x plus 8. And since it's a square, and it's 2x plus 8 on all 4 sides. Now they want to know the area. And you know that area is length times width. So 2x plus 8 times 2x plus 8. If you've forgotten how to multiply these, a common mistake people make on this question is they just say 2x times 2x is 4x squared, and then 8 times 8 is 64, and they choose answer D. Now, I guess you can probably guess that that's the wrong answer because I'm explaining it to you. Okay, this is the wrong answer if that's what you got. Okay, because when you multiply 2 binomials like this, remember you have to multiply every part in this one by every part in this one. So you got to do 2x times 2x, and that is 4x squared. You have to do 2x times 8, and that's a positive 16x. You have to do 8 times everything over here. So you have to do 8 times that 2x. That's another positive 16x. And then you have to do 8 times 8. And that's 64. You gotta combine like terms. 16x plus 16x is 32x. And then combine it with 4x squared and the 64. Here's your answer. Now, up here in your answer choices, you don't have that one, but you do need to understand that if you factored a 4 out of this, that would be putting it in simplest form, and you would have that. So remember, distributive property says I can take 4 times x squared and get 4x squared. 4 times 8x is 32x. 4 times 16 is 64. So you should be able to see that answer A, if you multiply that 4 by everything in there, you would get this answer. Okay, so that one's A. First one was B. I'm going to do one more. The base of a triangle has a dimension of 2x minus 8. We got our triangle here. Base is 2x minus 8. And the height is this right here. The height is not this side or this side. It's when you go straight up to the top from the base. So the height is 4x plus 2. Now, you have your formula chart, and you forget how to find the area of a triangle. Look on your formula chart. It's base times height over 2, or 1/2 base times height. I like to use this one. It's a little easier. Base times height over 2. So what that means is we're going to take our base, 2x minus 8, times our height, 4x plus 2, and that all goes over 2. Okay. So we can multiply these two, just like in number 2, how we had to multiply. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. Let's do it in the same order we did last time. 2x times 2 is a plus 4x. Now we do the negative 8 times both of these. Negative 8 times 4x is negative 32x, and negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Combine like terms. Use your calculator. 4x minus 32x is minus 28x. Okay. Now, once again, look at your answers. None of them have this in the answer, but actually they do. I was looking at answer D. I thought it was answer D, but this is answer B right here. So number 3 is B. Okay, what did we do wrong? There's something wrong here. See if you know what I did wrong here. Go back to the formula. What did I forget to do? I multiplied these two, but I forgot to divide by 2. If this had been a rectangle, this would have been the answer, because I would have been taking length times width or base times height. But in a triangle, we have to divide by 2. So let's divide this by 2. We get 4. Divide it by 2. You just take each part divided by 2. Okay? 8x squared divided by 2 is 4x squared. Negative 28x divided by 2 is negative 14x. And negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. Okay. And if you look at answer D and you multiply that out, you will get this answer. Okay? So answer D. Numbers 4 and 5. 4 is D. You're doing the area of a square. You should already know how to do that. And number 5 is A. You're doing the perimeter of a rectangle, and you already did that up here. So there's your answers. Number 1, we have a square. 4x plus 1/2. And since it's a square, then all 4 sides are the same. 4x plus 1/2. And we want to find the area of the square. So, once again, area for a rectangle or square is length times width. So the length is 4x plus 1/2, and the width is also 4x plus 1/2. Multiply. Okay. Let's do 4x times 1/2. And when you do 4x times 1/2, you have to say 4 times 1/2, and that comes out to 2. And it's 2x. Then we do 1/2 times everything over here. So 1/2 times 4x, same thing. 2x. Then you have to do 1/2 times 1/2. Put that in your calculator. If you forgot how to multiply fractions, put it in your calculator and you get 1/4. So our final answer, when we combine these like terms, should look like that. And there it is, answer D. Okay? Number 2 should be able to do. If you want to work it out, go ahead and pause the tape. Number 2, the answer is, wait a minute. Yeah, answer is C. Number 3 is a rectangle. And you need to find the perimeter. You should know how to do that. If you want to work it out, pause the tape now. Number 3, the answer is A. Okay? You probably got 24x plus 14. And remember, 2 times 12 is 24. 2 times 7 is 14. Okay. Number 4, again, pause the tape if you need to. You have a square, and you need to find the perimeter of the square, so you're just going to add it up 4 times, this amount right here. You're going to have 4 of those. You would get 24x minus 8, and that's what D equals. If you multiply that out, 24x minus 8. The reason they're writing these this way is because they're writing them in simplest terms. So if there's a common factor in there with 24x minus 8 that they can pull out, that's what they're doing. That's why they're writing it that way, if you're wondering. Okay, number 5, you have a rectangle, and you need to find the area. So you're going to need to multiply these two binomials. When you multiply them, you're going to get something that starts out with 28x squared. 4x times 7x is 28x squared. And you can see that both of these are going to have that. Once you multiply this all out, just like the one we did from the last sheet, where you have to multiply everything together, you're going to get answer D. It's going to be 28x squared minus 4 times 2 is 8. 8x minus 4 times 24 is 96. Now 96 comes from the 8 times the 12. 8 times 12 is 96. Okay? Okay, on these problems, when it says to solve, a common mistake on a problem like this is you look at these answers. Take a look at these answers. It looks like these are ordered pairs, and when you see ordered pairs, you think x, y. But be careful. X, y is always in parentheses like this. When you write ordered pairs, they're in parentheses. Now, you may not be able to notice it on the video, but look on your sheet that you have, and you notice that these are squiggly lines. Okay? These numbers, they're inside squiggly lines. And when you have squiggly lines, you're talking about sets, a set of numbers. And if you notice in your problem here, you don't have any y's. You only have x's. So what you're looking for here is the solution set for x that makes this true. You have an equation, and one of these sets of numbers makes this true. What I mean by that is if I plug in the negative 13 to the x, everywhere there's an x, then it's going to make this true. But it's also going to be true if I plug in negative 7 everywhere there's an x. Okay? So on number 1, I'm going to go ahead and skip to answer B. B is the correct answer. Because 5, we're going to check 5. So we're going to plug a 5 in for x right there. And here. And we're going to see if that's true. Well, 5 squared is 25, minus 8 times 5 is 40, and you'll see that that is negative 15, so that's true. Okay. Now once you check the answer for 5, you're going to be able to tell that that's the answer, because none of these others have 5 in it. But to be sure, you want to go ahead and check 3. So you go in, put your 3 in for x. So you get 3 squared minus 8 times 3. Plug a 3 into that x also. And that should be negative 15. 3 squared is 9 minus 24. negative 15. And that's true. So that's the answer. You're going to do the same way on all of these, okay? I'm going to go ahead and write all the answers for these. So if you want to work these out, pause the video here. Okay, number 2 is C. Number 3 is A. 4 is A. 5 is C. And 6 is B. Okay, on this one, it says the rectangle below has a length of 2x plus 3 and a width of x minus 2. Which equation below best describes the perimeter, P, of the rectangle in terms of x? There's nothing new here. This is just another way they may ask a question like this on tax. You already know how to do this. You're just finding the perimeter of this rectangle. And this time they've actually drawn the rectangle out for you. On the last sheet, I had you draw the rectangle out on your own just to help you, but they've actually done it for you here. Okay, so you're just going to add up all the sides because it's perimeter. And when you add these up, you should get 10x. Let's see. Perimeter of the rectangle. No. 2x. 6x plus 2 when you add all 4 sides up. Okay? Should already know how to do that. You're just adding up all the sides. Make sure you add 2x plus 3 here and another 2x plus 3 here, and x minus 2 and another x minus 2. Number 2, doing the area of the rectangle. And it's actually a square, and each side is 3x minus 1. So the area of a rectangle is length times width, so you need to take 3x minus 1 times 3x minus 1, and you're going to get answer A. If you forgot how to do that, go back and watch one of the other problems where I showed you how to find the area of a square or of a rectangle, where you have to multiply the two binomials together. Number 3. Okay, here's something a little different that we haven't done yet. Number 3 says to divide 2m to the 4th. I'm going to write this up here. Plus 10m cubed plus 16m squared. We're going to divide that by 2m squared. And I'm just going to make it a fraction. So remember, the fraction bar just means divide, so I'm going to write it like this. Okay. Now this division's not complicated, but you've got to keep these rules straight for exponents. When you're dividing exponents, you have to remember that you actually subtract exponents. Okay? Now the coefficients, the 2's here, the numbers out front, those are called coefficients. You actually do divide those. So you're going to take each term and divide it by this denominator. So let's start here. we got 2m to the fourth divided by 2m squared. Okay. Then we've got 10m cubed divided by 2m squared. Everything is divided by 2m squared. 16m squared, and there's plus between here and here. 16m squared divided by 2m squared. Okay. Let's take each one of these separately. 2m to the fourth over 2m squared. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. M to the fourth divided by m squared is m, and we subtract the exponents. So m to the second, or m squared. Okay? 1m squared is the same thing as just m squared. Plus 10 divided by 2 is 5. M to the third divided by m squared. Subtract exponents. M to the first. But m to the first is the same thing as just m. 16 m squared divided by 2m squared. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And m squared divided by m squared, you could subtract those exponents and get m to the 0. But anything to the 0 power is just 1. So you don't really have to write it. You could say 8 times 1, but 8 times 1 is just 8. So it's really just 8. Now, you should have known just by looking at it that this was just going to be 8. Because m squared over m squared, anything over itself or anything divided by itself just cancels out. It's just 1. So the m squares cancel, and you just have 8. So your answer is C. Number 5, we have a square with this length. Okay, so all 4 sides are the same, and they want to know the perimeter, so you just need to add up all 3 sides. Should know how to do that. Answer 2. Let me erase answer 2. That was A. Okay. So here, perimeter, we're just adding up all 4 sides. You're going to have L squared plus L plus 1. You're going to have the same thing here, here, and here. You should get 4L squared when you add all those up, plus 4L plus 4. Should get answer D. Okay. Make sure on these, if there's any questions, like if you don't know how I got that one, I'm trying to go through these fairly quickly. But if you have a question about one of the problems, come ask me when you get a chance. Okay. A pentagon is a geometric figure with 5 sides. The lengths are these lengths here that they're given: 6x plus 2, 3x plus 2, 2x, 3x plus 4, and 8x minus 4. Which equation describes the perimeter? Nothing new here. You're still finding the perimeter, you're adding up all the sides, but now you've got 5 sides. So just add up all 5 sides. So when you add up all the x's, you're going to get 6x plus 3x plus 2x plus 3x plus 8x. And that should give you 22x. So right away, if I look at my answers, I can see that This one has 22x in it. That's probably going to be the right answer because none of these others have that. But if you want to go ahead and work it out, you also add up your constants out here. 2 plus 2 is 4. There's not any here. Plus 4 is 8. Minus 4 is 4. So that's where the plus 4 comes from. Answer A. Number 2, they give you the perimeter of a triangle, 7x plus 2y. And then they give you the length of side A and the length of side B. And you got to figure out what the third side is. So a couple of ways you could do this. You could add up side A and side B and subtract that from the perimeter to get your missing side. You could also kind of work backwards. Put your perimeter down here as your answer, and then put your two known sides in. Here's side A, here's side B, and we're missing side C. When we added all three of these up, we need to get 7x. So let's just kind of look at it that way. Just kind of use common sense here. 3x plus 2x is 5x, but we need to get to 7x for our total. So how many more x's do we need? Well, we need 2x. Okay, so side C has to have 2x in it, so that we have a total of 7x. Now, here we've got negative 5y plus, how many y is this? Well, it's 1. So you've got negative 5 plus 1. Do that on your calculator. It's negative 4. And we need to get to 2. So we need to add, to get from negative 4 to 2, we need to add 6 more. So 6y. So our missing side here, side C, is 2x plus 6y. Answer A. Number 3, perimeter of a square. You should know how to do that. Perimeter of a square. You've got 5x squared plus 3 on all 4 sides. Add up all 4 sides. You're going to get 20x squared plus 12. Okay? Numbers 4 and 5. Go ahead and stop the video if you need to work these. Answers 4 and 5 are C and B. Should be able to do 4, but number 5 is something we haven't done yet. But one way to do this, I don't want to do these divisions yet, but one way you could do this is to check these answers. You would take a plus 3 times this answer down here should give you this number. So when you do a plus 3 times answer B, and you multiply that out, you should get what's under here. Okay, that's all.
That's it?
Yeah, that's my last one. Now, on number 2, y'all, before you start it, number 2, now yesterday we talked about independent and dependent quantities or relationships. They will never put time on the y-axis like this. I think this is a misprint. I think they meant to put it on the x. It should be...
Oh, I've seen plenty of them like this.
Yeah, but time should be down here instead of up here. Because remember, your x-axis is your independent variable. And time is always, what is it, independent or dependent? Independent. Because time goes on no matter what. So a lot of times you'll see functions that have time down here on the x-axis. And then you ask yourself, what's happening as time goes by? So as you move to the right, as time goes up, what's happening to the pages?
This must be decreasing.
It should be decreasing because the number of pages left to read, when they start out, it should be high, and then it should go down. So what's the answer?
It has to be, D.
Has to be D. Okay? Start up here, and over time, the number of pages is going to go down until you're done reading the book, so the pages would be at 0. Okay? That's all for today. They're really not clear about what F is there. So we'll look at number 1 and probably number 3. Okay, number 1. Sarah has a prepaid phone card worth $20. Every minute M she uses the phone, 10 cents is deducted from the phone card balance B. Which equation best describes B in terms of M? And when they ask you this right here, which equation best describes B, you know right away that your equation is going to look like this. B equals something. And if you notice, all your answers here start with B equals. Now, a good way to work these is to just start.
Equation signs.
Huh?
Look at the equation sign because it says it takes all 10 cents.
Right.
It can't be divide, add, multiply.
Very good.
Subtraction.
Very good.
This is D.
Deducted from, that word right there means subtract, doesn't it? Boy,